Welcome to our May video update, video newsletter. We have Art O'Day to thank for you being able to hear me today. He donated this little speakery thing that allows me to talk directly to the phone so that you can hear me. We'll start, I'll show you around the shop, show you the stuff that we're working on, trying to get finished before the quickly approaching season. This here, the last time you saw this, it had no shear plank on this side, and that was because we were making the floorboards, and that allowed us to get into the boat more easily to make the floorboards there, over there, all done. And now we've got the rails in place, and I've even put a first coat of paint on the inside of this boat, which is a little unusual at this stage, but I'm trying to get ahead on this boat in particular because it needs to be fiberglassed on the outside on the bottom, and fiberglass cloth is one of those things that now costs twice as much as it used to, and you can't find it. I just found some that should be here in about a week, so I'm trying to get the interior of this put together so that once it gets turned over, fiberglassed, we can paint and it'll be pretty much close to being done. So right now I'm working on the seats. It'll have 2 seats forward and then a little loungy seat back here, and I just made this little support for the loungy seat, and then I'll make a pretty little fan seat back there, and then I have some blocks in the rail to do for the oar locks and things like that. So it's sort of the last finishing touches, details of this boat left to go. This and that is a surf dory again. A 17-foot surf dory. This here is a Chamberlain gunning dory, and we've been making, again, progress on this as we've had the stock to do so. I think I can eke the last 2 planks out of the stock that I have upstairs. And so this sort of speaks to the way that we build here, or really that the way that dories in general were built, especially knuckle-sided dories like this. And I say knuckle-sided. If you look, you can see these 3 planks are all on the same plane, and then all of a sudden it starts to take a turn, and this next plank will actually take a turn up. Let me see if I can find a straight edge. So this frame, I will lay this along the lap, and this frame will actually get cut just like so for the next plank to go on. And so you essentially trim the planks as you go to fare them into the boat. The unusual thing about this boat is that we're actually following a plan, which is a step away from the norm here, and so I'm trying to do those knuckles as closely to the plan as I can. It's sort of lofting in place, but that top plank is almost dead vertical, which makes it really smiley shaped when you bend it around. And the way they get around that is it's got really narrow ends. It's usually pretty fat in the middle, and the ends get pretty skinny. And that is so you can get that shape out of a straighter plank. So I think I've got the stock for that, and hopefully, well, the next time you see this boat, it'll be pretty close to being ready to go. The reason for that is this is a traditionally built boat, meaning the planks have seams. I'll turn it over. I won't fiberglass it. I'll caulk those seams as they would have done 100 years ago and paint the boat, and you're basically there. So following in here, if you can, Dorothy. This one heeled up on its side is again what would have been called a sport dory. This one we are rebuilding to use, as was donated to us, was built 40 years ago to be used as our new chase boat, one of our new chase boats. William has been heading this up. He's one of our apprentices, and he's been trying to get this thing ready for the water, and it's inching closer and closer, but we've had to sort of modify the engine well inside. You can get a better look at it from over here. For a new engine that we got thanks to a grant from the Fleetwing Foundation, and so we've cut this away a little bit so the engine can turn fully and tilt up. And there's been a lot of prep work that's gone into making the inside of this ready for paint, which you can see half of it has been painted pretty nicely, I should say, by another apprentice, Devin. So this should get fully painted when they show up in about an hour. In here, in the other room, our paint room, which has really become the restoration room. Here's John, hard at work, thinking. John, you're on TV, be cool. I guess we can start here. The shallop rudder, also coming along. Again, this was damaged in a storm last October, and we've rebuilt this for Plymouth Plantation. And this is Plymouth Patuxent Museums. This is going Thursday back down to Plymouth to go back on the boat. So all repaired, back to good. This guy here has just come in. We need to get the engine off of it, but this has come in for a bottom replacement. This is actually not a terribly old boat, but I think we built this maybe 8 years ago for an article for Wooden Boat Magazine. And the bottom is traditionally planked, which the owner would prefer not to be that way. So what we're going to do is essentially just cut this bottom right off, and then the new bottom is right here. This will be fiberglassed, stuck on, and then you got to keep that sideways, otherwise people's screens are going to get all messed up. We'll fiberglass this and we'll stick it onto the bottom, and then fiberglass the whole outside of the bottom and the garboard, and then fiberglass right along that seam there. And this boat will never leak again until it does. This other twin is our chase boat, current chase boat, and we're just trying to beautify that for this upcoming season. That should be in the water next week. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Then we'll keep walking outside, where you can hear the sound of the road going by, thanks to Ardo Day's microphone. This boat's just here for a quick modification on a seat. And we need to teach the new owners how to rig it, since this rig is not terribly straightforward. I mean, it is if you know what you're looking at, but if you're new to it, it's not necessarily that obvious. And then, just yesterday, I was out at Mohonk Mountain House out in New Paltz, New York, picking these up. So these are a pair of boats that they've had. I think the plate says, let me look over here for the dates, but they have about 8 or 10 of these out there at the mountain house on the little lake, and the guests use these constantly during the season. But we've been building boats for them for a lot of years now. This one, I don't see they sanded them so many times that the dates are gone. But these probably date to the 80s would be my guess. And we're building 3 new boats for them this summer. And these are here for rebuilding. Although as I'm looking at this one now in the daylight, the question will be, is it worth rebuilding? And that'll be a question for them, especially if they're getting 3 new boats. This one is actually not in too terribly bad shape there. Then as we go down the hill, we are getting our own fleet of dories ready for the summer season. So this one we'll actually paint today with some of the kids when they come in. They've got fresh coat of paint on this. We need to dump the water out, and then we'll put some paint on our surf dory, and we'll get these in for some programs that we have week after next. We've got our docks almost in. We're going to get those all put in place today, and we'll be open for business very soon. I should mention that we have an upcoming class on wood carving with Guy, who's one of our volunteers. He carves little wooden figurines and all kinds of name boards and things, and he's teaching a class here. So if you're interested in wood carving or want to get into it, you can look on the website and you'll see there is the sign up for that class. And that's really what's going on here. It's well, I guess it's the basis of what's going on here. There's always all kinds of stuff going on here, but that's all I'll bore you with today. We'll see you in a month.